Hello and greetings, everybody. So those of you that are able to get in, I don't know if you had problems getting in or not, but now we're gonna figure out how this thing works, because I don't really know what I'm doing, and so you guys are just gonna have to be patient with me. Right now we are in the beginning of like trying to get everything straightened out so you guys can see how like see the presentation that I plan on giving you guys. And today today I'm going to kind of talk about a couple of things. There's going to be a discussion on trusts themselves, but there's also going to be discussion on an article that was done in the newspapers very recently on the Rome and AI. So what do Rome and AI have in common? Rome and AI have in common because Rome was making an announcement that they are going to play a role player in making sure that AI is used for ethical purposes. Okay. So the Vatican is getting involved in that little delving into that little controversy there. And you know what? I wish I had enough talent right now at this point to show you guys and maneuver around on this website or the StreamYard, but I don't. So what I'm going to do is just give you what I can, and I'm going to talk with you about some things with that have to do with the artificial intelligence. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about how a trust was created with the papal bull, how the papal bull created a trust. We're going to talk about what the papal bull was and the concept of implied trusts with that papal bull. We're going to also talk about the legal and historical impact on that. So talking about the expanded Vatican and ethical AI initiative. So I'm going to try to see if I can find this. So you guys can go. I'm going to try to do what I can. Okay. I'm going to do my best here to share something with you, but I don't know that I can. There is, okay. So there's an article. This article here is from the press in Vatican City. I wish I had a place to paste this. I don't right now. I can paste it for you guys in the comment section, and I can paste it on the video, but it is basically, the website is press.vatican.va. Okay. And it is a document. You can go to 424 of 24. Isn't that something else? 2024-0424 is the date that's on it. Let me see right now if I can share this with you guys somehow, some way. If I can make this happen, I will absolutely 100% do it. But I don't know what I'm doing. It's kind of fun not knowing what you're doing, but I don't like being like, look at that ass right there. It's a donkey's rear end. Oh yeah, that's Lone Wolf. Okay, so let me present okay, I could share a screen, right? Okay. It's easiest with two monitors. Okay. Okay, so let's go move this over here. And okay, I think we want to go right. There it is. Okay, you guys. Here it goes. Oh, shoot. Okay, that worked. All right, so you guys can see that we are very pleased that Cisco has joined the Rome call, because it's a company that plays a crucial role as a technology partner for the adoption and implementation of artificial intelligence by offering expertise in infrastructure, security, and protection of AI data and systems. From now on, we will look at how this can further grow and combine the already present corporate commitment. Corporate commitment, guys, corporate commitment. That doesn't mean private people commitment. It means corporation commitment. It means join one, join all, with the ethical principles of the Rome call. These are the words pronounced by Archbishop Vincenzo Paglia, president of the Pontifical Academy for Life and the Ren.A.I. Sans Foundation. Isn't that clever? Can you guys see that? Ren.A.I. Sans right there. Okay. Pretty interesting. Wow. That's, if that isn't telling, I don't know what is. Commenting on the event today that saw Chuck Robbins, chair and CEO of Cisco, sign the Rome call for AI ethics. When in 2020, the first time we proposed that the world's attention need urgency call on the algorithmics, ethics. How about that? And is ethics, that is ethics in the design of the algorithms that underlie artificial intelligence. We immediately understood that the time was ripe. Monsignor Paglia continued, today we know that AI is no longer a topic just for experts, and reflecting on the ethics of its development, it is more urgent than ever. This new signing of the Rome Call demonstrates this. Okay. Let me start by saying that I went to a Catholic church. Okay. I went to a Catholic school. I went all my life to a place that was a Catholicism. It involved Catholicism. And I was always taught when I was younger that God is good and God creates things for, those that do well for him, and et cetera, et cetera. And never once did it ever say that we were going to go and seek a intelligence that was higher than what God gave us. I mean, there's a point to where people can get to arguing something, and there's just a point where if people let it go past and beyond a certain point, then it is creating situations that it's past the point of no return. I truly believe that. And so I don't believe that with the impropriety that's happened in the past that Rome really has the authority to be saying a whole lot about what is ethical and what isn't. I mean, we can go into all of the stories, how the Vatican has done things. So, like, in this era of artificial intelligence, AI is reshaping how we live today. And the Vatican has taken a proactive step in orchestrating the Rome call for AI ethics. And it not only included tech giants like Microsoft and IBM, but it also brought Cisco Systems into the fold, creating the coalition of technology and ethical foresight. The framework established by this call, it advocates for algorithms that make sure transparency and fairness are promoted in an AI future where technology operates to service humanity, adhering to principles such as explicability, reliability, and impartiality. Those are the three things. Okay. So the Vatican's ethical quandaries and public perception, the juxtaposition of the Vatican leading a modern ethical initiative against the ancient backdrop of scandals, financial misconduct, and sexual abuse cases, including doctrinal rigidity, provides a poignant narrative arc. Critics will argue that these issues cast a long shadow over the Vatican's moral authority to lead global ethical discourses. The section we're going to talk about is going to go into specific historical incidents that have challenged the church integrity and explore how these particular controversies might influence public trust in the Vatican's ethical stances today. So I don't know if you guys knew it, but there's a whole bunch of things that are below where the Vatican is today. I'm talking about like places where satanic worship and sacrificial events have occurred in the past. And you can read about them. I'm not just spreading any controversy. I'm not trying to start anything. Again, I want you guys to know that I come from a place that is, it was all around, it was built around that community, around a church community. And some of those communities that I was in the churches with, I really liked. Some of them didn't mind when I was a kid if I played in the pews and made a lot of noise, because that's what kids do. And that's why I liked them, because they never included anything that had to say about how amazing we were. It was always a sermon on how something that we had needed to be improved and how we could do something better. And when I remember meeting with a gentleman by the name, and he's probably still doing what he's doing today, by the name of Father Kenneth Glazer. He was a priest at the University of Northern Iowa Student Center. So he ran that student center, and then he got called down somewhere else to do something else. This man arranged for a brother to come and help me after I got out of my incarceration, like to drive me around some places and do some things. And that was very kind of them, but, well, I mean, they're doing the devil's work, right? Like, I don't mean to say that their heart was intended to be doing the devil's work, but what kind of nonsense? Who believes that another man that is working for the Creator that's full of nothing but love and abundance would want somebody to go and sit in a cage confined from, well, everything that they created? It's another man punishing another man, and that's not self-righteous. That's self-righteousness. That's not righteous. So that's where, this all comes in and drawing the lines in this. So there are catacombs near Rome, and they're not directly beneath the Vatican, but they're emblematic of early Christian community practices and beliefs. And the burial sites serve as historical archives, and they preserved art and inscriptions and mortal remains of fledgling faith. So this podcast can vividly describe how these catacombs, with their narrow, echoing passageways line the tombs, functioned both as burial sites and as sacred meeting place during the periods of persecution. Unveiling the necropolis of St. Peter's tomb, and an in-depth segment can focus on this. Unearthed during excavations and intended to fulfill Pope Pius XX's wish to locate the tomb of St. Peter. So he was trying to find the tomb of St. Peter. And the discovery of St. Peter's Basilica revealed a complex of tombs and mausoleums that track back to Roman times. The evidence suggests that St. Peter's remains might indeed be detailed descriptions. And I lost you guys there just for a second. Detailed descriptions of the artifacts and architectural styles and the mysterious graffiti found in the site will enrich the narrative. Provide a rich tapestry of religious expression and theological symbolism. And each piece tells a story of devotion, martyrdom, or miracle, reflecting the theological and cultural currents of its time. The podcast explores how these artistic expressions not only beautify these sacred spaces, they also serve as doctrinal statements and these tools for spiritual edification. So the allure of Vatican secrets, okay? Despite the recent opening up to scholars, remains shrouded in mystery due to the vastness of its contents that remain unseen by the public are still prevalent. The the documents held within, such as the papal bulls, the decrees, the correspondence within the historical figures, and possibly contentious records that could alter historical narratives, are what is being held back by the Vatican. The secretive nature of these archives fueled countless theories and stories. It still does, which engaged listeners to invite them to ponder the implications of withheld information. People want to know. They want to know where this stuff is. Why is a whole organization withholding a library of history that they will not release to everybody? I mean, I understand protecting archives, but when you start protecting ideologies and covering up things that really happened and trying to place other things in place, this organization is responsible for trying to change the calendar around. Why would something affiliated with Creator want to have a bunch of people doing things that are not creative during a time that's not a time to be creative? The middle of winter I'm referring to. Why are people telling people to have a New Year's resolution in the middle of winter? To plant a seed in the snow. Does that work? Have you ever frozen a seed? Do you grow any plants in your freezer? Because that's really what it comes down to. You're not going to grow any plants in your freezer. Okay. The bottom line is that this exists. They're changing the creator's reality, and they're using the creator as being the authority on the change. And the creator never changes anything. So anybody that's sitting behind stuff going, oh, let's make this better. Let's create this so it's better. Let's make this work better. Let's make this work better. No, that is, what is that? What was that? Um, I can't recall the name of um, the company. I think it was BP for life, or it was like AE. We don't, somebody said something like, we don't make things, we make things better, right? Well, that's just like, we're not God, we just copy everything that he did. It's the same thing. That's the same, you're sending the exact same message when you're conveying these things to people. And so you gotta take the authority and know that these people are not, they don't have anything. They're just claiming to have that authority. They're claiming to have that position that exists only, well, if you allow it to. It's like an offer. It's like somebody telling you, hey, I'm going to be this. Well, you don't stand up and say, no, I'm not interested. Then you accept it. That's what a papal bull was. Okay. So the papal bull, we'll talk more about that in just a second. But um, the the inside of um, the Vatican itself, again, you're talking about biblical scenes, talking about like statues that don't belong. You're talking about, as we said the other day, the picture of, they say it's supposed to be Jesus coming out of a nuclear blast. Like, what kind of story would that be? How does that have anything to do with God? And why? Like, that doesn't even correlate, folks. It's like saying blue and yellow make green, but now you're saying blue and yellow make black. No, that doesn't, just because you say something that way doesn't mean that it is. But when you say it and no one else has a voice in it, then it will be that until the sleeping giant awakens. I say this because you guys are all the sleeping giants. You're all the ones that have the authority under all of these things. There's no group or organization, okay? And I'm not trying to get, I'm not like uh or the Catholicism realm. Okay. There was a lot of people that really helped out a lot and taught me a lot of things. And I don't want to take away from that. But what they were provided was a information that led them to believe it was for a different cause than what was really underneath all of the surface. And I'm not telling anybody to hate what's underneath the surface. I'm not telling you to hate anything. I'm telling you to recognize that there's a choice between whether you want to go and pick out of that like barrel or whether you want to choose from a different one. And it's whether like one barrel is one that you can create with magical things that you want, or the other one is just kind of a membership where you belong and you become a part of that organization because, well, because it's just like what you created. I mean, it's just like it. It's not, it'll never be godly. You see, we can go and I want you guys to look and just see when you go into like churches and things. Let me stop. I'm going to stop sharing this. I'm going to show you or see if I can show you something here. This is actually really not hard to maneuver on, believe it or not. So I'm going to show you guys here. And this is just really, I mean, I'm going to show you just a simple. Okay, so this is really easy. No, I'm not going to let you get notifications. I am going to share with you guys though, again. So let's share. And the more I share, that the easier this will get. Okay. Yeah, I know that. Okay, I want to share. So I'm going to share this with you really quick. I want to show you guys this article here really fast. So you guys can see that. Okay, this is the article itself. All right, so Cisco Systems joins Microsoft, IBM, and Vatican pledge to ensure ethical use and development of AI. And it says Rome Tech Systems, tech giant Cisco Systems. Okay. Pope Francis holds his general audience in St. Peter's Square at the Vatican Wednesday, April 24th, 2024. There's no symbolism on him right there. He has no symbolism that I can see anyway. He is kind of goofy though. He looks like I don't know. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say negative, but I mean for Satan he's not that ugly. He's in a wheelchair. I wonder what that ring says. Like somebody get a close up of that ring right there. I can't get it, but somebody can do it. I don't know what this dude is next to him here, but Pope Francis meets faithful at the end of his weekly general audience in St. Peter's Square at the Vatican. And the document unveiled and signed by Vatican Conference just before Italy locked down before the COVID-19 by Microsoft's Brad Smith and IBM Kelly University's UN agencies. Look at that right there. If that isn't in plain sight, United Nations agencies, private corporations, and non-governmental organizations have signed on as well. Who are those? Who are those organizations? Who is that goofy guy right there? Who is he? Pope Francis. There was also something signed in that a lot of groups of people were trying to remove him. And I'm like, oh my goodness, they don't even know who he is, do they? They don't even know what they're doing. Like they just signed a death warrant. A bunch of people just went and signed up to like, here, take me out with you. I don't want to be a part of this. So AI has captured world attention thanks to advances by cutting edge systems like OpenAI ChatGPT that have dazzled the users with produce human-like text, photos, and songs. It also raised fears about the risks of rapid developing technology poses to jobs, privacy, and copyright protection, and human life itself. Let's see. I can't see. It's too blurred still. They probably blurred it out, honestly. They probably blurred the ring out, guys and gals. Like, I would not doubt it at all. Look at that's Satan's silhouette. You guys see that? That's what Satan looks like in the shadow, or his actor, the people that work for him. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here, and I didn't know I could do that. That's kind of cool. So I'm gonna share another with you guys. Okay, and we're gonna share a different one this time. I'm gonna show you. All right, there we go. So this is just a website that's jclay.org. Okay. 7 false idols Christians unknowingly worship. And it's not about like, there's different degrees, guys. I'm going to tell you, like, there's different degrees of being a Christian on what people consider a Christian. And I'm not judging what anybody is. I'm telling you that there are things that are put out there that are not what they are perceived to be. And I'm going to have I think tomorrow what I'm going to do is talk about all of the people that are in the churches and in the positions of well, ecclesiastical positions, and they're claiming to have a connection with the creator that is higher than what most people have, but they're going to be uncovered for who they are. And I'm talking about, like, one of them. I'm going to tell you guys, like, I was so heartbroken when I found out exactly what, like, one of the people that and I'll name them. So I don't know if you guys know. Let me see what I want to look it up really quick. What songs? So let me just tell you, this person who is affiliated with these organizations, one of them, well, let me show you. I'll share how about I share the screen with you guys. I'm going to remove this one and I'm going to add another one. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I don't know what I'm doing in some of this stuff. So I'm just going to have to reshare, but I'll share it with you. Let's see. It's right here. You guys can see for yourself. This is, like, her dad is Mr. Womack. Actually, it's crazy because let me show you guys something else. I can show you this. Hang on, look at this. So you guys look here. Victory Life Church. Okay. This is Andrew Womack. This is Leanne Womack's dad. All right. That has Womack, or Victory Life Church here. And this is in Woodland Park. Okay. This right here is only like 45 minutes away from me. All right. And this is, well, let's go back. Okay. This is this person right here, the same person. See, she sings I Hope You Dance, The Fool, like, these are really popular songs. A lot of people, like, dig these songs. And I used to like some of these songs, some of this music I used to like. She's got a lot of music. But these are Zionists, folks. These are like Womack. The place that was created for worship he went and gave like $46 million or something like that. I don't know, some crazy figure to all of these UN organizations that are doing all this stuff. And people got to start waking up and realizing the people that are out there that are telling you guys that they are really close to creators and really close to this and really close to that are really close to the different one, not the one you're not thinking it's the same one. They're telling you it's God. And I'm going to tell you another thing. If you look up the word Satan, you're going to see that his name is in there is Lord. Okay. There was not Bibles until much later where they started calling God Lord, because what they did is they changed Lord from God to Lord. And now you have a title. You have a title of nobility. You think God wants to play with the title of nobility? Like, I understand Lord, but why don't you just call him God? We call him Lord God. And I'm not trying to be politically correct here. This has nothing to do with this. But it does have to do with when somebody wants you to call them sir, and they're using it in a context that it's implied to be something else when it's actually towards them, that's wrong. And that's misleading. So to clear the to clear the ambiguity and to make sure that you all understand, you don't need to use the word Lord, because Lord is not referring to God, the same creator that has goodness you're thinking of. They have in every way us believing that we are living in a world that is surrounded by our creator. When in actuality, they put symbolism all over the creator stuff. And then they say it's just normal. Some of the stuff that you guys have in your house, I was watching a thing today, and maybe I'll share it with you tomorrow. I'll work on the video thing, and I'll get better at this, guys. When I get good at it, listen, it's over. You guys are going to be able to learn stuff just like that. And I will have these things recorded so that you can go back and watch them and listen to them. We'll review all the stuff, and it'll get better, believe me. And I'll have, like, when I get good at this, I'll be able to do this, like, where I can draw and everything. I mean, there won't be anything holding me back. But some of this stuff that you guys see that's out there it's just really good looking stuff that says there's no way that anything could be unrighteous about this. There's nothing unrighteous about this. And look at everybody that's going there that I know. All of my friends are in that organization. They belong and they are faithful and they love, and they have all of these things, these qualities. We're coming to a time and an age and a day where all of these qualities are not necessary anymore. All of these qualities that people claim that they have are not even required to be qualities. It's like trying to use tokens from a video game store that only work in a video game store, or going to an ice cream store with a car wash token. It's only redeemable under the contract and terms that you create. And those contracts and terms of any sort of situation are only good as the knowledge that you have, that you take into that moment before you touch that pen to that paper. After you touch the pen to the paper, it's whatever's behind that pen that matters. It's whatever that sits preceding that pen that rules and governs you now. That is your miniature trust that you created. When we get into these contracts, and that's something that is really important, is we're getting into these contracts and we're getting into contracts that are putting us into positions where, we've given up things. And I mentioned to you guys before, under the guardian ward relationship, we have waiver and consent. And when you guys don't preserve something, again, when you walk up, let's just use a really super simple example. When you go to a restaurant, we're going to call it Spuds. Okay. You go to Spuds. Everybody goes to Spuds. You go get your Spuds on. Okay. If you don't tell them at Spuds to put salt on the fries, they give them to you plain. You guys get it? If you don't preserve your right to have nutrients that are in the salt on the food that you're eating, then you waive the right to have nutrients. You get that? I hope you understand that, because that's everything that you're doing when you don't know something that is before that line that you sign. And I am a poet and I do know it. Before the line that you sign, if you don't know what's there, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to tell you something else. If you sign something, if you go and create a signature, if you sign something and you've been signing all along, there's certain things in law that just apply. Like, you've been agreeing all along, so your mark is just your another agreement. You don't have to have like a full signature to explain everything. It's just like you signed the first time. The first time sets up how you wanted to do it, and everything else follows suit from there on out. And that is the paradigm that we are in right now, except people come into contracts later on. They believe that, well, I can start changing it now. But you can start changing it at any time. And I suggest that you do start changing it, but you change it when you know what the change is and what it does. And when you change the change, when you make the change, you're not being a volunteer anymore, but you have to know what your other alternative actions can be. Otherwise, you're just a sitting duck for time to expire before someone else keeps moving on you again. You have to know how to finish something that you started. And sometimes it's better to wait until we actually figure out what the remedy is before we go and pull triggers on stuff. And that's a matter of having a comprehension on things. I'm telling you guys, when you can go to explain stuff to people, and I did the class on it. If you guys went and watched the class, last Sunday's class, I did the class on it. But what you give people in information is what they'll give back to you. If you come to them and say, hey, there's a whole story in this, and I'm going to tell you all how I got here, and you can explain the story of how you got where you are, then they have to give you your remedy. If you're wrong in your speculation, then it's just you being a ward. I'm going to tell you that right now. You're just going to be looked at and you're going to be responded to like you're not anybody. And the law says that, well, yeah, maybe you did sign it different this time, but it doesn't matter. You already agreed. Now, equity, on the other hand, equity will see done that which ought to be done. And if you went and asserted something that wasn't done, then that's on them. That's on whoever you did it. Equity operates on an honor system. People all used to work on an honor system until people couldn't be trusted anymore. How can you trust somebody that will kill somebody for something that doesn't exist? It's really hard to have faith in humanity when humanity doesn't even know what being human is like. When we don't understand what it's like to be a human because we've never been one, because we've always been everything that was put into a rule book, and we were told to walk a certain way and talk a certain way and act a certain way and don't act a certain way certain times, and then reserve yourself a certain way and begin your sentences with a certain way and, indent a certain amount. And who made these rules? Somebody did. Somebody came along and said, these are the rules, because they don't just happen. They weren't an immaculate conception of, reality. Like, hey, look at this document appeared and there's 10 rules that I found here. How amazing is this? It doesn't happen that way. It happens in a way that, well, you guys see my dog photobomb? That's awesome. I love it. So it happens in a way that is there. All of these things that are done, all of these changes that are done so subtly. And this is where people talk about the frog getting a slow boil. When you have a frog that is boiled very, very slowly, those things that are changed over a period of time, and people are given new things. Okay. So let me just give you two instances. I'm going to give you two examples. One example is going to be like, tell people today, okay, tomorrow, everybody, we're going to be changing over to like, I don't know, we're going to be changing over to something new. We're going to be changing over so that all these new rules are going to come up and we're not going to be able to vote on them. Do you know what that would cause people to do? Do you understand like what impact that would have on people if they were seriously put in a position to, and they were forced to like change without any sort of formality, when you have to do that by saying there's no rule book anymore? Okay. But what if you're the guy that wants the rules to happen? What if you're the one making the rules? You're like, how can I make this happen faster, man? Like, how can I make this happen fast? Like, well, I know that people change when they have to. How do I make people have to change? Well, how about you cause something cataclysmic, cause a devastating event? Well, how do we do that? We're not God. But we could be. We just have to figure out what he did and make it better. And that's what people do. They cause chaos because people are like, it's sad. It's really sad. It's like trying to make somebody upset just so that because you're upset, you make them upset too. And that's the way that this system works. And that's the way that people that, people that I love were trained to do those things and to do them to me, not even knowing that they were doing them. And many of you out there have also had the same things happen to you. They were taught that you have to control stuff. And for other reasons, I'm sure, but over time, never mind. It still turned into the same thing. A bunch of control freaks who have control over nothing, and everybody's competing for control over stuff that they don't have. No one has control over anything. The only thing that people have control over is what they manipulate and they make that's unnatural. And we know what happens with that. What happens with weather that's unnatural? You get 100-mile-an-hour winds in places that would normally be peaceful, and people are devastated and wiped out. Like communities are wiped out, like twigs on the ground. They're sticks. You guys want to learn more information? I want to show you something really fast. I'm going to show you this. I want to show you this because this is important. You guys got to know. I got to make the screen though. I got to go to the window. So let's look up. Okay, let's see. Okay, so let's start here. You guys, let's start here. I'm going to show you what I typed in, and then we're going to go into this in a little bit more detail. Okay, so get ready because this is pretty interesting. So we're going to present this. And okay, so look at the top. I want you to look at the top there, and you see Colorado weather manipulation. Okay, then you look and it says weather modification program, Colorado.gov. You guys see that? You see that? I hope everybody sees that. Then you go into here. Okay. Colorado Weather Modification Program. Wow, we have a program where we can modify. Look, we can even call a guy to get the weather modified. Hey, Andrew, do you mind putting some really nice weather out there for me? Because that machine up on your mountain is producing some electromagnetic waves here and frequencies that's kind of freaking out my weather, and it's making the wind blow shit off of my property. Okay. The Colorado Weather Conservation Board administers Colorado weather modification, WM program, like weapons of mass. No correlation though. Which issues WM permits? Do you guys get your weather modification permit? Monitors weather modification activities, so you can be monitored after you get your permit, and keeps the public informed about the state's weather modification activities. Isn't that nice? How about being informed that you were going to modify the weather in the first place? Because I was never here when you did that. I don't even recall getting that notice and being given an opportunity to not consent to that. Colorado has conducted weather modification operations and research since the 1950s, and a program to permit weather modification existed since 1972. Wow, isn't that crazy? Since, well, 50 years, 50 something years after the significant drought started in early 2000. Oh, now it's a significant drought. Now we have a significant drought. We just had floodwaters coming through here last year and unprecedented wind, and you're making snow and rain, and we have how is that even possible? How is it even possible if you've been making weather since 1972 that you cannot have any rain? That's the dumbest thing. In other words, you have a weather modification program that doesn't modify weather, or it's just money. You're taking money to do stuff. You guys get it? You get what this means? Colorado's a strategic state. Wow, that's strategic. Yep, you got them all right. You got everybody. You got them bamboozled, all of them, the whole state. You strategically bamboozled them all. With the headwaters of 8 major river basins, and downstream states are reliant on the snowpack and snow stream flow generated in Colorado. So it's saying that what we're generating is going to help people downstream, but screw us, because we just went through a drought in 2000. So like, we don't care about us, but we're going to look out for everybody below us. That's the biggest garbage, guys. That paragraph says that we created this thing and we give permits and we control it. And we've been doing this since the early 50s, but we haven't told anybody. And it's existed since 1972, but it hasn't really worked because we haven't been able to generate the water to stop the droughts, but we have been able to provide all these states below us all the water that they need, and they're relying on us now. Do you see like how many times that contradiction happens in there? That doesn't just, that's bull crap. What is weather modification? Cloud seeding is the primary weather modification activity recognized by the state of Colorado, the company. Cloud seeding is a process of burning silver iodide through an ice nucleus generator that is carried up into the clouds to stimulate the precipitation process. It causes precipitation. It causes moisture. It causes different fluctuations in temperatures, which causes rapid, major, heavy winds, gusts that are not normal. They are only normal when you have a volcano entering hot air into the atmosphere. Then you will have the same results. But other than that, winds are not normal, folks. Winds are created. A permit is required to modify the weather in Arizona. But good news, folks. You guys can apply for your weather modification permit, and you too can contribute to like cursing what Creator gave us. Cloud seeding contracts must work within local interests to develop an operational plan and funding for a cloud seeding project. The contractor then can apply for a permit to cloud seed from the state of Colorado on behalf of the project sponsors. The person managing the project must be qualified. Public hearings are conducted, a record decision is developed, and if issues can be resolved or addressed, the CWCB director signs the permit. Let's go back and read a couple of these things. So first of all, the contractor, a permit is required to modify the weather. Okay, so you go and apply for a permit. Well, I want you guys to go and look up who are applying for these permits and who the companies are that are running these weather modifications things, because I think you're going to find out that it's probably run by the same people who are in charge of all this stuff, who run these businesses. What they're doing is they're taking all of these things, creating a program, saying it's absolutely necessary, just like they did in the first place. And then they turn around and have these other organizations that they create and they run, and they say, okay, well, we need this money for this. And then they import the money into the organization. And then they stand back and say, wow, what a great organization that is to help us out with this problem up here that we created. Do you guys get that? It's just a funneling of money. They're creating a problem. Okay. Weather modification permitting. Permits are 5 consecutive years and are renewable. The permit review fee is $100 plus a 2% commercial fee. The commercial fee is 2% of the base contract between the contractor and the project sponsors. So I don't know what that means, but it's only $100 to go and do a whole lot of God's manipulation, to manipulate what God created. How do you apply for it? Here you go. Just dial this 1-866 number. You can talk to Andrew Reichert, and Andrew will hook you up. Public notice of intent in the target area and adjacent counties. Look at that. Guys, what did I tell you? Public notice of intent. You give people an opportunity to object to things, and when they don't, guess what? It all is on right now. If you give notice that you're doing weather modification and you don't get the notice, guess what? It was in the newspaper for you to see. You could have researched it. Due diligence would have taught you that. And you never said anything after you found out. Do you think maybe now would be a good time to say you maybe don't consent? So here's what you need to have. In other words, you must be a United States citizen, because here's the thing. Well, I'm not going to say that that's what the case is, because but I am going to say that safeguards in place by the contractor and the state. That means you're in the state trust, which means that you're in the United States trust, which means you're in your public trust, because none of this stuff can happen. I do say that they give financial responsibility and general liability insurance. So general liability insurance is not, that is fiat. Financial responsibility could be just proof that you can pay for something. Okay. It's showing proof. So here are the permitted projects. Okay. This is what they got going on, guys and gals. Okay. You want to know why avalanches happen, why people are dying, people die. Do you think they care if an avalanche falls on a car and kills some people? Oh my goodness. They didn't have a will and they didn't have a trust. They died intestate. So, oh no, you know what? People that die intestate, geez, they fall into the public charitable trust status. So like, well, we're just going to have to change that around. Like, I guess, thank you for donating your estate to the public charitable trust, and they acquire another state. Another one bites the dust, folks. It's like, we don't know who we are. We don't know that we have the ability to be authorities in the world that we live in. And we constantly are giving things away because we don't understand those things. We don't know where we fit into this society because we're not given any clear direction, and we follow the wrong way and know that other doors exist that were all intended for us to open. And they're secret doors. Like I told you yesterday, I want you to go back. I want you guys all to go out to eat as soon as you can to a restaurant. Okay. Go to a nice, decent restaurant. I want to hear your results. Seriously. I'm not kidding you. I want to hear your results. Okay. I want to hear when you go to, and you don't have to go to an expensive place. Just go to a mom and pop place and say, is there anything on the menu here? Go ahead and call up a restaurant if you have to and say, is there anything that is not on your menu that you guys make that's really good that a lot of people that know about it order? And what they're going to say is, why, yes, we do. We actually have a chef special or this or that. They're going to give you something. You're like, what the hell does that have to do with anything? Okay, so what if they do that? That's the same thing, folks. You're in, like, I want to say it again. You're in a simulation, but what you're in is just all based upon what you allow people to have and get away with. There's people that are constantly looking to suck your energy away. And if you don't assert that you don't consent to that, and sometimes that means sitting in a room by yourself, telling something that is around that you can't see to get lost. It's not a joke. Saying that you don't accept evil spirits around you is a real thing. Vocalizing that is even a better thing, because if you think that people can't hear your vibrational frequency, then you're wrong. And I say people very loosely. I say whatever it is around us, because are you really a people, or are you really just a spirit inside of a body that's been given the ability to decipher some things with half-assed like detection system, that's being hijacked and manipulated as time goes by foods and things in the air and frequencies and other things. So we learn over time with wisdom, and the wisdom only comes with knowing what's on the menu by attending the place that has the things and learning the secrets from the people that trust you. And when people trust, they share things with you, like I share with you guys. I share things because I want you to be curious, because I can't just give you answers and keep your attention. People are not enthralled. They don't follow what doesn't have something interesting on the other side. And people say, well, you speak in riddles. Well, maybe, but if the Riddler is what got you interested in Batman, then so be it. Enjoy. Know that it's not going to be somebody sitting behind in peanuts going, wah, 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 wah. That's not what it is. This isn't just kill the time. I'm trying to give you value. Everybody needs value. They need to see what this is that has caused the problems that they can rely on, that is trustworthy. You don't have to trust me. You don't have to trust me. Just trust what I say is something that you can go and look up yourself. And you go look it up and do your own research. And you will see that maybe only a little part of this has validity. But I'll tell you something else. There are a lot of people out there who are receiving remedy by learning who they are, who they really are, versus who they've been told who they are. And they are changing their families by asserting that right. And their families are seeing the changes that are happening in their action, the things that they're doing. And they truly believe who they are. It has nothing to do with me giving them anything. They might have information, but they've empowered themselves with that information and made it into their own, molded it into their own little thing. It's like you can go to school to be a graphic designer, but your graphic designing doesn't come in graphic design school. It comes with the application of your other experiences in life on what colors and flavors and mixes and matches that you have with your design. And that's going to follow you everywhere you go. And you'll have things that you like better than others. And that's what makes us unique. And guess what? AI can't do it. AI can't do it. AI cannot mimic the creation spirit that you have inside of you. AI can only take what creative spirit has already been given, and let's say it's deceased now because it's been used, and that's the way it can use it, because it has no life. It only has the electric current, the power, and the ability to regurgitate a combination of numbers that have been put into it and given other values. And those have been equivalated to your language. Okay. So the language that we comprehend have been given number values, and that's all it's doing. We think that, oh, wow, that's really smart. Nope, it's not smart, folks. It's all you guys put together. That's what it is. You want to talk about freaking amazing? That's what it is. You want to talk about AI being regurgitated? Put a bunch of people in a room and ask them a question. You're going to get answers. Those answers are going to come faster than the AI can spit them out. But they won't be in words. They won't be in words. No, because what's happened is the variables that have been spit into that AI are what the AI is spitting back out. See, if it has 20 choices of one thing, it'll go and put all those 20 together, or depending on what it's been told. And that's all it can do. But you have infinite anything. You can create new stuff that the AI never even knew about, never even could imagine that it existed. And your possibilities are infinite. What you can imagine and what you can do are infinite. What AI can do, limited on you and other people. And yeah, we can have a lot of ideas, and you're going to get a lot of different expressions. Who taught the original AI to say F you? Somebody that said it, obviously, right? So we can have anything. I never, like, if I've ever asked any questions, I'm not like, some people think that's cute to be rude to those things, but I don't, like, I just don't believe in it at all. I think you speak negative energy into the universe and, well, it goes out into the universe, whether it's to somebody or not. So I'm very cautious about that. And I think you guys uh, should be too. Now, I have a whole part that I didn't even get to today because I was talking about other stuff. And we're going to talk about tomorrow. We're going to talk about the papal bull. I'm going to tell you about what it is. We're going to talk about how it is an implied trust, and then we're going to go over some case studies on that. And we'll have like a discussion on that tomorrow. So I'll bring some other stuff. We'll talk about other things, but you guys, I really appreciate everything that, all of your patience and everything that you guys do in your work. A lot of you guys have, like, man, you have some really amazing stories, and you have some more stories that are just coming around the corner because you just keep creating more of this abundance of stuff, and it's good stuff. And not everybody gets it, but I pray that, you guys will all be blessed with the knowledge that you can carry with you into, other situations and other realms. And the stuff right now, we have a tendency to say, no, it's not important because it doesn't apply to me right now. But don't wait until it applies before you come try to find help. I've got people that, oh, I knew I should have done this. I knew I should have done it. And then this, like you just said it the other day. And I promise I'm going to get probably 2 or 3 people that are going to say the exact same thing. I even listened to your open mic and listened to it on there. And you did say it on there. And I can't even believe this. Like, yeah, I'll get it, guys. I will get that. And, I want to help everyone. I do. I don't want anybody to suffer, but you guys have your own struggles. And, like, I got my own ink to pull out of my own paper. Okay. So I can't be pulling ink out of paper for everybody. So I got my own struggles. You guys got to deal with yours. And, like, we'll bounce stuff off each other. We're going to keep, this community going. We're going to keep this community growing. And I don't even know what the situation is on the YouTube, but I'm going to get that stuff fixed, and I'll get this background fixed because it's really cutting out on the screen too. I don't like those things, but we'll see you guys. You have an amazing day. I appreciate you so much. Have an amazing day. I send you much love and energy. And with that, I yield.